Let's look at blood flow through the heart. You're going to notice the general flow is atria to ventricle to major blood vessel. And blood leaves the heart in an artery and it comes back in a vein. Also note two colors. Blue is for deoxygenated blood and red is for oxygenated blood. So let's start with the right atrium. We're going to move from the right atrium through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, next through the pulmonic valve into the pulmonary trunk, which splits into the left and right pulmonary artery that go to the left and right lung respectively. Blood going to the lungs gets oxygen. When it comes back, we're seeing it as the color red to denote that it has oxygen or is oxygenated. Blood comes back from the lungs in 4 pulmonary veins, and these 4 pulmonary veins all empty into the left atrium. The left atrium then drains past the mitral valve, also known as the bicuspid valve, into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, blood then flows past the aortic valve into the aorta, which has many branches, some that go up towards your head, others go down towards your abdomen, down into your legs and towards your toes. But the systemic capillaries that are at the ends of these blood vessels that branch off of your aorta, they're going to lead to your tissues. And those capillaries provide your tissues with oxygen. And when that oxygen is given to tissues, they can perform metabolism, and that now deoxygenated blood will make its way back to the heart. Remember, blood makes its way back to the heart via veins, and 2 of the biggest veins are the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. They both drain into the right atrium. And now we're back to step 1. So let's review. Beginning at the right atrium, we're then going to see blood move through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, blood will move past the pulmonic valve into the pulmonary trunk, and the pulmonary trunk splits into the left and right pulmonary arteries. That blood then gets pumped to the lungs. At the lungs, the deoxygenated blood gains oxygen and comes back to the heart via 4 pulmonary veins. That oxygenated blood then moves into the left atrium, past the mitral valve, then into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, we're going to see that blood move through the aortic valve in order to get into the aorta, which has many branches and lead to systemic capillaries. At systemic capillaries, tissues get oxygen, and that oxygen will no longer be in the blood, and now that deoxygenated blood needs to make it back to the right atrium and does so via the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Another structure that we can't see in this view of the heart, because it's actually in the posterior view or on the back of the heart, is the coronary sinus. The coronary sinus actually drains deoxygenated blood back to the right atrium as well, but it's draining deoxygenated blood that was serving the myocardium or muscle layer of the heart. So just like there are 4 pulmonary veins that drain into the left atrium, there's actually 3 blood vessels that drain into the right atrium, and they are the SVC or superior vena cava, IVC or inferior vena cava, and what we can't see in this view, the coronary sinus.